do some videos, do some recordings, do some everything. Gonna do the RE marathon I've been wanting to do. There's nothing that's gonna happen that's gonna make me change everything. God fucking damn it. God damn it.
Well, it's been a while. I know it's been a long time since I did anything with the channel, but there's been a lot going on. School ramped up, and I had to do a bunch of shit for that, and then my frat, and then a bunch of other things. But now we have some new additions. There is now a new PC, thanks to Mr. Gar of the Rage. And along with that, I decided to use a space in my apartment that was not being used. Thank you to the previous roommate for moving out. That means now I have technically an office. Look at all this room to do activities with. It's great. But in order to do this content switch I want to do, I have to change some things up. But this was too good to pass up. Sony has decided to change the PS5, PS5 Pro, and PlayStation Portal's prices, increasing them by a lot. This is honestly not that surprising, given the fact that, well, Sony, the state of the market and everything, the PlayStation 5 was always going to go up in price, and ponies wanted to lawfully say that, oh no, it's not going to. It's not going to go up in price, guys. It's not going to go up in price. Sony has enough RAM. They didn't have enough RAM. And as we see here, the changes are as follows. In the US, the PS5 base with a disk drive included will go from $549 in the US to $649. The PS5 Digital Edition, that does not include the disk drive, will go from $499 to $599. And the big one, the PS5 Pro will go from $749 to $899. $900. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck is Sony thinking here? Well, I'll tell you what they're thinking. They're not thinking of anything. This is literally insane, to say the least. And as we are now seeing that the AI bubble is not as impressive as we thought, as these companies thought that it was. Sora was, prior to this announcement, Sora had just announced that it was going to go offline. Google had just announced that they had found a way to use less RAM for data centers. Along with that, a bunch of stock crashes have been happening in terms of Nvidia, Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, and everything. OpenAI is fucking dead in the water, basically, with their stocks just plummeting and plummeting and plummeting, along with the fact that they are losing not only key people, but also key business relationships, with a billion-dollar investment from Disney basically going under. Along with that, Oracle had basically decided, you know what, that data center that we're going to build in Texas, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. So to make this announcement now, as we're seeing the cracks in the AI industry and the cracks in the AI bubble, is insane. It is ludicrous that they are doing this. But Sony's gonna Sony, and we're already seeing the results of this. Prior to this, Sony had stated that they had enough RAM to get through this RAM crisis, and that prices would not go up. That was said 2 months ago. Yeah, it doesn't look that great, does it? So as prices have gone up, now the PS5 is now in line with the Xbox pricing. It's just that the PS5 doesn't have a Series S, so that they can hit a $499, so that they can hit a $400 price tag. Along with that, I suspect that Xbox, in their ultimate fucking good ideas, will decide to raise prices again to then compete with the PS5 Pro, making it so that the Series X will now be $1,000. The PS5 Pro is technically already $1,000. Let's go into that. The PS5 Pro at $900 is an absolute scam. Do not buy it at that price. It was already not worth it at the $700 price tag that it launched at. At the $750 price tag, it was especially not worth it. But now at the $900 price tag for what you're not getting, it's insane. The PS5 Pro has a decent GPU, around the same as an RX 7700, and that's really it. The 16 gigs of RAM that it has, though it has access to all those 16 gigs of RAM, of VRAM per se, it is 16 gigabytes of GDDR6, not 16 gigabytes of dedicated memory for each component, being the CPU and GPU. That memory is shared between both the CPU and GPU, and the game will automatically determine which pool is more important, the CPU pool or the GPU pool. The PS5 Pro has a slight advantage in its RAM usage over the base PS5 and the Series S and X, with the fact that it has 2 gigs of dedicated memory for OS and other factors, meaning that anything that you run on the OS side will not be running on those 16 gigs, instead 2 gigs of dedicated DDR5. The problem is when you compare it to PCs. Yes. Comparing a PC with 2 pools of dedicated RAM and a console that has shared RAM is not that easy. But we're gonna do it anyways. For $800, people have managed to find a decently priced and decently spec'd build. This has a Intel Core Ultra. I don't really know the new Intel naming scheme because Intel has been practically irrelevant, but it is one of the newer Core i5 variants that they have released. 32 gigs of DDR5, a RTX 5060, 8 gigabytes, and a 1TB drive for $800. For $800, that's a fucking steal. Compared to the PS5 Pro, you are getting a much better CPU, even though Intel's in the fucking shitter right now. Thankfully, they're looking to come back. I'm hoping that those new Intel Core CPUs are going to hit as well as they do, as well as they're saying, but hopefully that's the case. With Intel now seemingly coming back, I mean that platform actually has some longevity and you actually have some room to grow, you are getting not only a better CPU, because again, the CPU in the PS5 Pro, though being an 8-core Zen 2 CPU, having more cores than the, well, more actual cores than the Intel variant, the cores itself are still the weak Zen 2 variants, which at the time were really good, but as we have gone on, we're now at Zen 6, looking at Zen 7 and 8, yeah, it's not that good anymore. The GPUs are more comparable, but the fact that not only does the, RTX 5060 have just a better GPU in it, it also has the better ray tracing in it as well, because you're using AMD instead of NVIDIA. NVIDIA just has better ray tracing. That's just how it is. You have access to path tracing, though you're not really going to want to use it, and along with that, you have access to DLSS, meaning that you not only have access to DLSS 3, 2, 1, but also 4 and 4.5. And with the beauty of PC, you can change settings. Still not as good as my rig. Again, thank you, Gar, for this thing. It is been a fantastic build, as now it even runs an Intel CPU. The problem is that it gets too hot. Why do you think we're in a new space? Why do you think the PC is in a new space? There is a second setup in where the old setup was because I just needed a different setup so that I can focus on more things, but that's here nor there. The PS5 Pro now, at that $900, it still does not have an option to have the disc drive come with it from the factory. Instead, you have to go out and buy the $80 disc drive. Along with that, the $30 stand is, again, separate. Yeah. The launch PS5, both models did come with a stand. Not only that, but also the PS4 Pro came with a stand in the box. So yeah, I'm gonna include it in this. If you include the PS5 Pro at its current price, the disc drive, which is needed for physical games and physical just everything, and add on that stand, which is just a nice to have, but really should come with the console because it came with the previous version beforehand, but also came with the previous generation's Pro console, you get a grand total using the standard rate of... God damn it, my mind's blanking. This is all gonna get cut. While using the standard tax rate in the US, and for me, in Texas, the current sales tax of 8.25%, you get a grand total of... I did this calculation a bit ago. It's probably already on the screen, because I'm good at that. I'm good at that. I'm good at that. $1,091.15. That does not include the TV that you would need to utilize this at the max capacity, which would be a 4K 120 Hz VRR capable TV. This does not include any headsets, microphones, extra controllers, setups to charge those controllers, any games, subscription services, nothing like that. Nearly 1.1K. $1,100. Nearly that amount is spent on just what you should get in the box. You should get the disc drive in the box with the PS5 Pro for $900. You should get the stand in the box for $900, but you're not getting that. That is a problem. And not only that, but you've seen the usual suspects of fanboys saying that you should have bought it when it was cheaper. That if you didn't buy it when it was cheaper, then, oh, that's bad. That's a bad thing. I own a PS5. I bought it for $100 off a friend. I scammed that man because now that same PS5 is worth $650. Add on that I also got the stand because it looks good in my TV setup. Even though my TV setup is shitty. Yeah. The PS5, in my opinion now, is just not worth it, especially compared to something like the PC or even things like the Switch 2. I have been critical on the Switch 2. I don't think that it is the best machine that Nintendo has made, and I think that they should realistically have done better things with it, especially with its CPU, because that thing is underpowered as fuck. But, oh my god. Compared to the PS5 Pro, for the $450 that you would pay for the baseline Switch 2, you not only get technically 2 controllers, which is there, but also the ability to natively not only natively buy used games, because that is a great option. Nintendo has the ability to get keys off of different sites, meaning that you can use something like CD Keys, Green Man Gaming, or any other site to get a cheaper key, which means that you get cheaper games. But also, you get access to exclusives that are actually worth a damn. I don't care about anything coming out from PlayStation right now besides maybe Wolverine, and I was burned. And I was burned on Spider-Man 2. I did not think that that was a good game story-wise. I thought the combat was good, but that wasn't enough to keep me playing it. I don't think that that was a good game. Soros looks interesting to me, but I don't want to play on the controller. I'd rather play that on the keyboard and mouse. And with the recent rumors that Sony will stop porting to PC, which at this point, at these prices, I don't think that the little exclusives that you truly have are going to entice people enough to go out and buy a PS5, especially for $600 base. Sony did what Microsoft did. They saw what Microsoft did and how it basically killed their console sales at that point, with the fact that, oh, I can't do anything. I can't sell consoles because why the fuck would somebody buy a Series S for $400? A absolute idiotic decision to price the Series S, the Series X at $650. The gall to price the fucking 2 terabytes at $800, and Sony saw that. Instead of taking advantage of the option, they decided to raise prices on their shit as well. And the problem with the consoles is that I don't think that these are going to go down in price. I don't think that these consoles are going to lower in price, because guess what? You already paid for them. You already bought the PS5 at $650. You bought the Pro at $900. Why are they going to lower the price? At this point, I'm thinking maybe I should trade in my original PS5 to get a Pro, but then I'm like, oh, but I would need to get the disc drive as well. And I don't have money. I'm a broke college student. I don't have the money to go out and buy a Pro. I barely had enough to buy the PS5 at the price that my friend was selling it to me. This generation, in my opinion, has been one of the worst in terms of just being able to afford anything. Games going up to $70, and most of those games not being worth it. I've only thought of really 2 games worth the $70, and that's RE9, because I fucking love RE. And then the other one is Monster Hunter Stories 3, because I've gotten so much gameplay out of that. Other than that, my main games I've been playing are retro titles. I bought a whole PS3 just to play most of the PS3 games because Sony lost an opportunity and didn't give me native PS3 support. I can't play PS3 games just by buying them off of the fucking PlayStation Store. I have to spend an obscene amount of money on PlayStation Plus Premium to stream these games. Instead of playing the Switch 2, I've been playing my Wii U, Wii, and GameCube on official hardware because guess what? It's what I have and that's what I want to play. I did get the special Switch 2 GameCube controller that they released for the Switch Online, and I did get the special N64 controller that they released for Switch Online, but that's because I wanted new first-party official controllers of those. I sold my Series S because I wasn't playing it enough, but I still play my One X, my One S, because guess what? That's the one I have upstairs. And I'm fine with the graphical dip. I already can't see dick from my fucking couch. Not my couch, but from my fucking bed. So why the fuck am I gonna do that? This generation has just shown me that most games aren't going to be good, and most games haven't been good, and Sony raising these prices has not given me any reason to recommend a PS5. I used to think that the best option after Xbox raised the price of their consoles twice was a PS5 digital. $450 for a console that had a good library of games. You could play most games decently. it was a no-brainer at that time, because guess what? If you really wanted a console and you didn't want to get a Nintendo console, that was the choice. But now at $600, I can't recommend anything from PlayStation. The PS Portal went up to $230 for a glorified streaming tablet. I know it's called the Dad Station for a reason, because it's great for dads, but for me, it's not good. None of it is good. I'm a guy that owns 3 PCs now, and each of them do their own thing. I have the Beast rig over here in my fucking office. Or at least what I call an office. It's really in progress right now. I still need to get a bunch of shit. But I have it in here now because I wanted to separate my school and play. I wanted to do that. My old rig is still set up in the old place that I had it to do school, work, and edit videos so that I could separate the two lives. And my fucking Steam Deck is used for on the go because I don't take either of these to school, so I want to play games at school. Because sometimes I'm waiting between classes for 2 hours. Yeah, it's great. I chose the right schedule, guys. The problem right now when it comes to PlayStation is that it seems that they have an identity crisis. They want to be the big budget AAA game developer that they were known for from the PS4 generation, but they can't get the output right. This generation has had some of the worst games from Sony. Spider-Man 2 was not that great in terms of story. Ragnarok was middling to say the least, and I didn't even like 2018 when it launched. Yote was controversial because of the voice actress and because of one of the developers' comments, and most people didn't want to buy that game. Yeah, a lot of people did, but you probably lost more sales than you would have thought. Helldivers 2 was a smash hit, but most people play that on PC, and I would not want to play that on Xbox or PlayStation because there's no cross saves. I can't take my things away from it. That's what's hurting our group right now, because Luke, or as you may know him, Radar, can't play because it's still locked to his PlayStation. Astrobot was a good and fun time, but it wasn't worth it to... if I didn't get the PS5 for $100, it wouldn't have been worth it at all. Death Stranding 2 is, from what I hear, good, but it's also on PC, so why would I need to get it? Get a PS5 for it. Returnal seems to be a great time, but it's not a game I would buy a PlayStation for, or hell, even play on PlayStation, because the controller wouldn't be enough for me. I want to use keyboard and mouse. Same thing with Soros. And then the lineup that we have now, with Wolverine coming out this year, but at the same time as other big hitters, games that I would rather play, along with the fact that you have Intergalactic being made by the literal scam artist that's known as Neil Druckmann. Like, how I'm gonna play that? Other than that, there hasn't been any software or any games made or announced to interest me in a fucking PS5 anymore. The Switch 2 at least has the promise of a new Zelda, a new Metroid, a new Pokemon, a new fucking Xenoblade. I'm still waiting for the fucking actual good updates for the Xenoblade games. I don't count that abomination that is known as fucking X Switch 2 Edition. What the fuck, Monolith? But at least they have games I would actually care about and actually give a shit about. And then you have the fanboys trying to defend all this, and honestly, some of them did have good points when it comes to this. Like, some of them did call it out. I will give the bald bitch Nicola his flowers. He did call out Sony for this, because this is a stupid fucking decision. But then going around and saying that you should have bought the PS5 when it was new because you were waiting on a price drop is insane to me. Every single generation from the start of gaming has had a price drop in its entirety. This is the first one to have a price increase. PlayStation did it 3 times. First with the PS4 PS5 Slim, raising the digital cost from $400 to $450. Second time, raising everything by 100, or at least with the Pro, only 50. And now this time, you're raising prices even more to the point that for the price of a PS5 Pro, at that point, just get a PC. You can do so much more with a PC, and some people don't like PC, and I understand that. But at this point, yeah, why buy a PlayStation? Alright. This was kind of a ramble, rant kind of video. I had not planned to make this at all. When the announcement came out, my parents were here, so I couldn't make a video the day that it dropped. But yeah, we're making a video now. I know it's been very sparse for content, but I'm actually going to try and do some more stuff. The dual PC setup should help. But yeah, once again, thank you to the great Gar of the Rage for giving me a fucking PC. Don't ask him for a PC. Please don't. I don't want anyone to fucking bother him for a PC. If you do that, I'm gonna fucking slap you. In terms of videos that are coming out next, we're going to be doing an RE marathon. I'm already working on that. And then some more stuff when it comes to some other games as well. I want to stream more, which hopefully I can get onto that because I'm fucking busy. But other than that, we got a lot of stuff coming. We got a lot of stuff planned. We're going to do a lot of things. So, while we're still here and still waiting, thank you all so much for coming out and watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't like it, dislike button there for a reason. If you like my content, this style or this idiocracy, subscribe button's right there. Small channel. I don't want to say this, but if you like the video, you can also hype it. It's stupid, but YouTube wants people to do it for some reason. I don't know why. And other than that, see y'all in the next one. God, somebody's stupid.